Set 8 Monsters Attack is here, and here's 5 of the best comps to climb with by our challenger experts. Starting off, we have a super consistent comp that's also really easy to play, and guess what? It uses the ultimate reroll trait, Supers. That means Gangplank, Malphite and Lee Sin are mandatory to activate the trait and make this comp work. Ashe, Renekton and Yasuo are a laser corpse and also are carries too, who you want to 3-star first whilst Ezreal rounds off this comp. So your primary focus will be to 3-star all of your units. So you want to start off by going on a full 5 lose streak, saving up as much gold as you can in the early game and then starting your slow roll strategy. This will be easier than other reroll comps as you'll only use 1 and 2 cost units, which are obviously by far the easiest ones to hit. Your first laser corp is the main carry of this comp, and that's going to be Ashe. Her itemization is fairly straightforward, attack speed and damage, meaning Rage Blade, Death Blade and Runaan's Hurricane. Renekton is your second most important laser corps unit, and a tank, so send everything defensive his way, with belts being his favourite components. Warmog's Armour, Dragon's Claw and Redemption are all fantastic choices. If you have fully itemised your 1-cost carries, the next unit you can consider throwing items on is Yasuo, with hybrid tank items such as Bloodthirster and Titan's Resolve. But he is going to be your lowest priority here. When it comes to augments, any Ashe or Renekton hero augments are by far your best choices. Your best options are Laser Focus, Cold the Meek or any reroll augments like Trade Sector. After covering a super easy but consistent comp, we'll continue with one that will catapult you to that first lobby spot, but it is a lot harder to play. And the Avengers are finally here to win you that endgame. Aphelios, Samira, Alistar, Echo, Janna, Leona, Urgot and Zoe are the heroes that will save you in set 8. And since you mostly want to play high cost units, the comp, unlike all others, is a fast 8 comp. So save up gold and health early by going on a win streak. Push levels aggressively whilst constantly slamming items and slotting in high cost units to not lose out on board strength. Your most important units are Aphelios, Samira and Alistar. Aphelios wants a Gwynsu's Rage Blade first, then a Last Whisper and a Giant Slayer. It's also important to note that an itemization like that does need you to activate his third ability, Onslaught. For your main tank Alistar, you're looking at items like Warmog's Armour, Xerot Portal, Dragon's Claw and so on. And lastly, Samira ideally wants similar items like your main carry, but you can throw anything left over with damage onto her. Playing a fast 8 comp with so many high cost units will not be easy, but if you want to always know which hero augments to pick, you can check out our free Set 8 overlay and bring this comp guide with you into your next game. The best augment choices for this comp are high-end shopping or level up, as they'll let you hit those legendary 5 cost units faster than any other augments. For your hero augments, of course you should always grab an Aphelios or Samira augment. But since the odds of seeing those aren't that likely, you can also opt out for a Zoe Sleepy Time for that extra utility too. Next up, we've got a comp that will make your enemies quite literally see double. Zed will use his Shadow Jutsus to slash up the enemy team with the help of Sejuani, Misfortune, Leona, Echo, Zoe, Vi and Yasuo. As a default leveling comp, you need to level up at a regular pace and stabilise at level 7 by finding a copy of Zed and Sejuani. In stage 5, you'll push for level 8 and complete your board by upgrading your carries to 2-star. In this comp, Zed is your main carry, and since you'll always send him to the enemy backline carries with Hakarim, he wants to use Edge of Night in case he gets focused, and then something like Runaan's Hurricane and Gwynsu's Rage Blade. Your secondary carry is your frontliner, Sejuani, and as a tank, she only wants defensive items to stall the fight as long as possible. Great items for her include Xerot Portal, Warmog's Armour, and of course Dragon's Claw. And lastly, there is Misfortune, who you want to use for everything AP. In the ideal scenario, you give her 1 mana item in Spear of Shojin and then any other damage item. For augments in this comp, if you can't find any Zed hero ones, you can still opt out for Vi's Boxing Lesson Support augment, which will just simply make your team a little bit tankier. You could also increase the healing of your main carry with any Hacker Heart, Crest or Crown. Number 4 on our list is called Optimus Prime. Get it? This comp uses Misfortune in the back and the optimal Mecha Prime Sett in the front. And to make sure Sett stays alive as long as possible, you want to load up your board with units like Leona, Echo, Riven, Rel, Jinx and Wukong. This one is another default leveling comp that spikes extremely hard once you hit your carries. All you need to do is rush to level 7 at around the end of stage 3. Find a copy of your main carries Misfortune and Sett, and then you have a big boy in the front and big damage in the back. Speaking of which, Misfortune wants 1 mana and 2 AP items in Spear of Shojin, Archangel Staff and Jeweled Gauntlet. For your solo frontliner Sett, his best in slot is a Gargoyle Stoneplate, so that he can build up as many resistance stacks as possible. Then you can go for items like Warmog's Armour and Dragon's Claw. For your augments in this comp, you should definitely pick up the carry hero augments Bunny Mercenary and Punch Protocol. Making the team overall tankier though is also a really good choice, so go for any Aegis, Heart, Crest or Crown. The last comp we have for you will hurt your enemies emotionally, and it's called Heartbreakers. Viego, Aphelios, Echo, Leona, Alistar, Zoe, Sivir and Talon will go straight for the fields. It's probably the most flexible default leveling comp you can play, as you'll always have units for each item category. When you're playing this comp, you want to stabilise in stage 4 by finding a copy of your main carry Viego, as well as your core frontliner Echo. Once you go to level 8, you'll have to find Leona, but more importantly, Aphelios, who will really round off and complete this comp. Viego is your main carry though, and he's your AP item holder in this comp. As a melee carry, he always needs one item that just gives him some form of sustain. But as you know, Viego loves to deal damage too, so his best in slot will be Hand of Justice, Jeweled Gauntlet and a Rabadon's Death Cap. The secondary damage carry in this comp is Aphelios. Now as a pure AD item holder, you want to send everything that's made out of a sword or a bow his way. So Guinzu's Rageblade, Giant Slayer and Last Whisper are going to be his best choices. Ox Force will add some sustain to our team and more importantly Viego. But to not only rely on the surviving seconds right before death, we also want to have a unit that holds all of your defensive items. For Echo, you simply just want to go for a Z-Rock portal and then some healing reduction and damage over time in Morellonomicon. As for your augments, any Viego hero augments are simply no-brainers, but since they aren't quite as reliable to find, you'll do just as okay with Talon support augment, or any Hacker, Heart, Crest or Crown. Having Hacker is especially good as you can then send Viego straight to the enemy backline. That's going to wrap up our 5 comps you have to play from our Challenger experts. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.